Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the former political advisor to President Tinubu and a Northern Elders Forum member, has warned that the North is distancing itself from the president due to economic hardship, insecurity, and other challenges. Now, in a letter to Tinubu, Baba Ahmed urged the president to step aside in 2027 for a new generation of leadership, stressing that the focus should be on governance, not re-election. In response, Bello Matawalle, the Minister of State for Defense, rejected these claims that Tinubu is a political liability to the North, calling such accusations politically motivated. Matawalle emphasized that the North, though facing challenges, remains supportive of the president, citing his commitment to addressing the region's issues, including security. He criticized those spreading misinformation about Tinubu, accusing them of seeking political relevance after failing in their own leadership roles. Meanwhile, there are indications that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-governors Nasir El-Rufai and Rotimi Amechi, and the Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, are all working on a mega coalition to unseat President Bola Tinubu in 2027. While the former National Vice Chairman of the All Progressives Congress Northwest, Salihu Lukman, joins us now for a conversation on why a selection of the Northern political elite are displeased with Tinubu, the prospective success of a coalition against the APC, and of course fears of a one-party system given the scale of defections to the governing party. It's great to have you here on Newsday. Thank you for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Well, what do you make of all that has transpired in the last couple of days, including this coalition that is supposedly to be formed or is in the making of those four gentlemen we just read in the intro? Could you give us your take on the situation?
Well, I think the first thing is to clarify. The objective of setting up the coalition is not just to defeat President Tinubu and APC, but to rebuild Nigerian democracy. There is no need belaboring the issue. The point is that Nigerians are disappointed. APC came with a lot of promise, and being a founding member of APC, I can talk about that very authoritatively. We promised Nigerians to end insecurity. We've promised Nigerians to end corruption. We've promised Nigerians to ensure that at the minimum, our democracy is functional. Unfortunately, here we are today in a situation when people talk about one-party state, I think they are being generous. The truth is that we don't even have a political party. APC itself, I don't regard it, and being there, I can say so authoritatively, any party whose organ are not meeting is not a political party. And as it is, the first thing, and this is the first disappointment with President Tinubu, I'm one of those who hold him in very high regard. I thought all the mistake of President Buhari, he will be able to correct it. Unfortunately, here we are, he has elevated Buhari to a status of a national hero, largely because he himself almost came with unprepared. He is ruling the country almost impulsively, taking decisions without any plan, which is where we have landed in a situation whereby cost of living and income have been eroded, So I think, coming back to your question, the whole objective of the coalition, and this is the negotiation going on, to ensure that at the minimum, the mistake of the past are not only corrected, but we don't resume politics almost as business as usual. We must have present to Nigerians a functional political party, one that can hold elected representative accountable. This is the negotiation going on, and agreement is almost concluded. In not too distant time, the whole coalition will be unveiled, and how we are going to mobilize Nigerians, how we are going to contest the election in 2027 will also be clarified to Nigerians.
Thank you very much for that. Now, I'd like you to tell us about the specific actions or policies of the president that you think have led to the displeasure of a section of the northern political elites? And also, what do you make of Bello Matawale's response dismissing all such concerns as sour grapes?
Well, first, let me make this point. Alhaji Bello Matawale can hold his own opinion, and I'm not going to bother myself responding to him. And to clarify, when you talk of, please, let's stop segmenting the frustration of Nigeria to the regional divide. It's not just northerners that are frustrated with President Asuwaju and APC government. I think it's the whole of Nigerians. When you talk of specific policies, I can start, and I am one of those, as a member of the party and as a leader of the party. 2 months into the tenure of this administration, I read the alarm. When he declared subsidy is gone and flood the exchange rate without any clearly spelled out economic plan that will deal with the challenges that come with it and prepare Nigeria on the path of productivity. I mean, I read the alarm. I think I wrote an open letter where I talk of disturbing signal, and those are the issues I raised. And beyond that is also the whole question of how we take the country for granted. We contested, and I campaigned. I was in the leadership of the party when we campaigned the 2023 election. We campaigned on the Muslim ticket, not because we are contemptuous of Nigerians, but purely as a strategy to win the election. And when after winning the election, the first thing he did is to abolish all subsisting agreements that were agreed upon in the party, which include zoning the position of the national chairmanship to the North Central, and he moved it unilaterally and arbitrarily to the Northwest. And in the constitution of the leadership of the National Assembly, almost sacrificed North Central. I felt that is a mark of not just conservatism, but recklessness. It shouldn't come from a leader such as Asuwaju, who is ranked very high as a progressive politician. And if anything, those are some of the things I argue, that Asuwaju assumed the position of president of this country almost as somebody who came with like a vengeance to just erode all subsisting agreement and ignore the factors that bind this country together. And those are the issues. And for us who are negotiating this coalition, we believe it's not something that should be segmented to North and South divide. When people talk about North and South, I mean, I try to not distance myself. I am from the North. But I can tell you, if we are going to find solution to this problem, it's not by relapsing to our ethnic or regional sentiments.
And considering this coalition, let's first talk about the northern elites and their dissatisfaction. How organized do you feel that they are? How much unity is amongst the individuals who feel some displeasure? And as well... Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I will keep emphasizing. When you continue to focus on North-South, you are not going to get the substance of the issues. My argument has always been we need to reorganize. If we are going to rebuild the politics of this country, we need to reorganize it.
Well, that's my question.
If you talk of...
regardless of whether it's Northerners, Southerners, individuals who are disgruntled with the current policies of the day, how would you characterize their level of organization or even their way of forming?
I can tell you. I can tell you authoritatively. We are organizing ourselves in the North, and the North is going into the coalition as a bloc, and the whole issues that appear to be divisive in the North are being addressed. the question of religious differences, the question of ethnic difference, we are handling them very well. And discussions are going on, and by the time we unveil ourselves, you will see what I'm talking about. So it's not a matter, and we are relating with other sections of the country with the mindset of respecting everybody and understanding that we need each other.
Now, earlier you talked about a subsisting agreement, which you said the president has jettisoned. But I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will remember clearly that the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, promised that it would continue with Buhari's legacy. So I'm wondering, was there a closed-door agreement that Nigerians were not privy to?
I don't know about the Buhari legacy you will be talking about, but the agreement I refer to was the agreement that produced the leadership of the party. And that agreement ceded the position of the national chairmanship of the party to North Central, and specifically ceded it to Nasarawa State. I was in the forefront of the campaign for Abdullahi Adamu to vacate that seat after immediately the election of 2023. And once Senator Abdullahi Adamu vacated the seat, what we should have done would have been to go back to the constitution of the party, which required Nasarawa State to produce the replacement of Senator Abdullahi Adamu. And there are people qualified, eminently qualified, people like Alhaji Tanko Al-Makura. Those are people that are qualified. But for whatever reason, the president unilaterally decided to abrogate that agreement and ask Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje to take over the position. And the argument that has been made was that he preferred to give Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje the position of national chairman because he didn't want him in his cabinet. But in the case of the national secretary, after the resignation of Senator Iyolo Emisore, Senator Basiru Ajibola from the same Osun State was adopted. Now, you don't have double standard. And those are very fundamental issues. And I keep making the point, and I have read that severally, with respect to constituting the leadership of National Assembly, again, North Central was sacrificed. That is why in the principal offices of the National Assembly, I mean, look. We are a country where our complexity requires we have to be sensitive to our diversity. If anything, I will say authoritatively that, look, Aswaju is appearing to be the most reckless president we have produced, who take decision without demonstrating sensitivity to the national complexity.
In your opinion, what strategies or alliances, what situations under the stars need to align in order for the coalition to pose a credible threat to APC as it speaks?
I can tell you, many of us, as part of the people negotiating the coalition, one of the things that we have put as priority is to ensure that we produce a very strong political party. A party that the leadership of the party will be from the first 11 in the rank of people who are negotiating the coalition. So that when you have a national chairman, the national chairman will have the kind of profile almost like that of the president. And when the party is meeting, it's actually the leaders of the party that are driving the decision of that party. And any agreement or any decision of the party will be respected by everybody. That is the first thing. If we don't get this right, we will almost resume politics business as usual. And our priority beyond, yes, our priority is to defeat APC and defeat President Aswaju in 2027. But beyond that is to ensure that the functionality of the party is deployed in such a way that the whole challenges facing the country can be negotiated and the solutions to all these challenges can begin to be put in place.
Okay, I'd like us to talk about the recent defections, from the PDP to the APC. How does this, what impact does this have on rumors that Nigeria might be sliding into a one-party state? And of course, what implication does this have for democracy? Already, we've seen the defectors trying to explain that they made the decision in the interest of their people so that they can benefit from being aligned to the center and all that. But does that explanation hold water to you?
Well, about 2 or 3 issues. The first is that when you talk of, when you look at this defection, 2 issues come up immediately. One is that it confirmed the fact that PDP as it is a shadow of its old self. That you will have leaders of the party, including a governor, saying that we have had governors of PDP before that have defected to APC, but we have not had it in such a way that they said they are moving with the whole party structures to the new party they are going into. Would demonstrate the fact that 2 issues from there is that, in the first place, everybody in the party has agreed that PDP is dead, and therefore they have no hope remaining there. The second thing it also demonstrated is the fact that where they are going to, they hold the leadership of the party, in this case APC, very contemptuous. What invariably they are telling APC leaders is that we are coming in and we are going to replace all of you in Delta State with the new people we have come with. I mean, for goodness sake, that is disrespectful, and it also confirmed the point I have been making, which is that APC is not a political party. I believe if leaders of APC will assert themselves and will open up, they will not accept the kind of arrogance that this defection has brought in to APC. Now, having said all of these things, I think when you equate all of these things to the fear of one-party state, it's also to elevate APC to a status that it is not today. APC as it is today is not a political party as far as I'm concerned. Any party whose organs are not meeting, is not a party. The only thing that makes APC different from PDP is the fact that it is the party in power, and that because of that they are able to manage themselves when there is election, as is the case with Anambra State election. They rally around and say they produce somebody fairly or unfairly. This is their candidate, and they stand to do things and say they are campaigning. Now, is that all the function of a political party? No, that's not all the function of a political party. For instance, today, and I being a founding member of APC, I can say so authoritatively, where is the manifesto of APC? We promised Nigerians to end insecurity, and in that manifesto, we outline how we intend to do so. And if you remember, in 2015, part of our argument was that Buhari, being the elected president, was going to rule the country from the front. We have regressed from the time of Buhari to a situation now we are having a president ruling the country from the remotest part of his bedroom. He cannot even be accessed. And problems are multiplying. To be fair to Buhari, and I will always say this, around 2017, we have the same problem in Benue and Plateau State, where people were killed. To be fair to Buhari, both Buhari and former Vice President Osibanjo, they visited those places. Today, more people have been killed in the same Benue and Plateau. And all we have is a press statement from the office of the president. What all this demonstrate? For goodness sake, we should have some sense of shame as people who have promised Nigerians and as people who have failed. We have failed Nigerians, and to that extent, therefore, and which is why we are arguing and we are engaging our leaders in negotiating the coalition, is not to sit back and trust leaders. We are going to do everything possible to ensure that whatever agreement we have in the new coalition is agreement that we will use to hold leaders accountable. And from the beginning of unveiling the coalition, Nigerians will see that we really mean business. It's not a question of just waiting for 2027 and going to campaign and win election and then fall back and wait for the benevolence of an individual who is elected the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Well, we will certainly watch as the coalition forms and hopefully have another discussion with you in the near future. Thank you so much for joining us here on Newsday. Salihu Lukman, APC Vice National Chairman, Northwest, former.